Excellency Dr. Yamani, PSU President, Your Excellencies, the Vice Rectors, Professor Altwaijri, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to this, the 7th International Conference on Data Science and Machine Learning Applications. The proceedings will begin with a recitation from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما يضاعف له العذاب يوم القيامة ويخلد فيه مهانا إلا من تاب وآمن وعمل عملا صالحا فأولئك يبدل الله سيئاتهم حسنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما ومن تاب وعمل صالحا فإنه يتوب إلى الله متابا.
Dr. Yamani, may I invite you to make your opening remarks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning to you all. It is a great pleasure for all of us here at PSU, and we are indeed pleased and delighted to have our distinguished scholars and guests here at PSU. We welcome you all at PSU, and we truly thank you for coming such a long way to be here with us and participate in an important conference, not only to the kingdom, but also for the whole region and beyond. The 7th International Conference on Data Science and Machine Learning Applications. This is an exciting time for scientists and engineers working on data science, machine learning, knowledge discovery, and their application. Data science and machine learning bringing the power of computational and artificial intelligence, coupled with big data to produce an intelligent and bright future for mankind. Before making a few more remarks, I would like naturally to thank the organizers, PSU, College of Computer and Information Sciences. Once again, that talented team has succeeded in bringing together on a common platform local, regional, and international academics, researchers, practitioners, as well as from the industry and technology companies, to share and discuss important issues and exchange of ideas regarding to recent state-of-the-art research development, machine learning application within new ways to explore and interpret data science. There is a history of PSU interest and work in regards to data science with the establishment of Prince Migrant Center for Data Science, MIGDAM. In 2010, jointly MIGDAM and CCIS launched the first symposium on data mining application, which became a biennial event ever since. This will be the 7th run of this event, with its new title, the International Conference on Data Science and Machine Learning Application. This is apropos given the growth and richness of this enlarged two-way today scholars gathering. Today, this conference is attracting many high-quality papers that are co-sponsored by IEEE. On that note, it is worth mentioning that the March 28th and will be the 5th annual conference on women in data science. On May 22nd, the 2nd International Conference on Smart Tech and Emerging Technology will be held on PSU campus. Faculty and students from all 6 of PSU colleges will participate in both events with set go and depth. A salute is warranted here to the CCIS research labs. Not surprisingly, one of them is titled the Data Science and Data Analytics Lab. Other kinsmen are the Robotic and Internet of Things Lab, the Emerging Intelligence Autonomous Systems Lab, and the Security Engineering Lab. The above squadron have been heavily involved in conducting data science and artificial intelligence research. Princeton University labs are developing cutting-edge AI solutions in several fields, including healthcare, public transportation, national security and safety, Hajj and Umrah applications, aerial and ground and manned systems, smart architecture, social networks, sentimental analysis, to name a few. Such events as the CDMA, Smart Tech, and along with CCIS cluster labs, integrated into PSU research work. So much of that past and present on those frontiers. We are particularly thrilled to welcome our distinguished guest speakers, keynote speakers, Dr.Majid, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the National Center for Artificial Intelligence, NCAI, and the CEO of the Strategy Management Office at Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority. We need also to thank those scholars who will be speaking and making presentations and participating in forums today and tomorrow. For those from PSU and local institutions, let me congratulate you on your work and sharing your knowledge. For our regional and international guest speakers, let me reiterate a warm welcome to accompany my thanks. At PSU, our aim is to be at the forefront of higher education in the kingdom. One of our primary goals is to broaden the technical research horizon and to stimulate discussions and social activities that will prompt engagement and collaboration, not only for our faculty and students, but also among the community at large. I applaud the College of Computer and Information Sciences for taking the initiative and teaming up with the IEEE Saudi Arabian chapter and IEEE Region 8 for Technology co-sponsoring this important conference and making this conference an annual event, as the Kingdom's audacious vision is generating momentum to social transformation and program reform. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate and reiterate our thanks to the CDMA 2022 organizing committees and to acknowledge the many colleagues, faculty members, students, and volunteers who devoted their time and talent to organizing and making this ranging international conference an overwhelming successful event. Our appreciation also goes to our distinguished speakers, to our keynote speakers, panelists, reviewers, the local committees, and all members who contributed to the success of this conference. In closing, we would also naturally like to feel that we have not only made friends with some of the leading experts in the field, but that this conference will also mark the beginning of establishing the basis for long-term relationship with PSU. It is best to stop here and let the expert in their respective fields to take the floor. I wish everyone a successful and a fruitful conference. Thank you all again, and I trust you will enjoy the rest of the program, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yamani. It's now my privilege to introduce today's principal speaker, Professor Majid Altwaijri. As I think Dr. Yamani has already mentioned, Dr. Altwaijri is Chief Executive Officer of the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and also CEO of the Strategic Management Office at the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority. He is also co-founder of the Saudi Association for Health Informatics and is currently its president. Dr. Altwaijri.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. It's really great to be back among classmates, friends, and some of actually my teachers. Yeah, it's really an honor to be back, and really grateful to kind invitation by the university, and special thanks to His Excellency President really for giving me the chance to at least try to speak among very distinguished AI speakers, which is not an easy task. I'll do my best to make it exciting, at least to shed the light on the future of AI that is truly changing the way we think, the way we live, in the future for all of us. So I want to start with data. So what's data? The data is the source of information, which is actually in turn the source of knowledge, which is in turn the source of wisdom and intelligence. This is true for human being, but more true for machine, because that's the only way that machine can learn is through data. And the more the data, the better the machine can learn. And going through some statistics, it's expected the global data volume to grow by 500% by 2025. So that's huge when you talk about the amount of data that is really growing in 5 years. And you can think of data not just the piece of information, but the whole economy behind that. When we use our Gmails or emails, you see all these ads. It's coming from the data. It's coming from the interaction that you have with the machine. This is in turn becoming a source of economic for many companies, and I think now for governments as well. In Saudi Arabia, we have started actually working on a national strategy for data and AI, and the main theme is how we can position the government of Saudi Arabia to be among the top 10 leaders of data and AI. And we have an opportunity because data strategies have been actually drafted for many years for many of the countries. If we look at the US, Europe, some countries in Europe had data strategies for 20 years or more. In Saudi Arabia, we have the opportunity to draft one strategy that is for data and AI, because we believe the true potential value of data is going to be unlocked by AI. We can think of data the way most people think about it, structured data that are put in databases, and then you can make sense, analyze, bring insights out of these data sets. But you can think of data that is outside the structure. And I think we have seen in the exhibitions where street cars and people walking on the streets, the tweets, the emails, all these unstructured data, this true value of such data can be unlocked by a technology called artificial intelligence. So the future is huge actually, and machines is getting bigger, smarter, and I think the algorithms are becoming smarter and more accurate. You can see it today for areas like medical. For the first time now, machine can diagnose, make an accurate diagnosis of X-rays or cancer or breast cancer, even better than the physician themselves. So that's really a glimpse of how the future would look like for us. So AI, again, we define data. So AI is trying to mimic the human intelligence. We see, we hear, we understand, and then we make decisions. So this is exactly what we were trying to do with artificial intelligence. How can a machine behave like a human, and the end result, that machine can make a decision, a cognitive decision based on many insights and data elements that it has learned. We human learn from experience, and we want the machine to learn from experience. The experience of the human and the experience of the machine learning on itself. So that's really the future of AI. This is, I think, the future of AI is also going to be around the general purpose machine or AI, something, you heard about the GPT-3 model or the other pre-trained model, when the machine no longer can address a narrow problem and solve that problem, but you can train a machine to address multiple problems at the same time. With a little tweaking and more of enforced learning, you can have the machine to adapt. And this is the human behavior. I think the machine until now cannot really mimic the adaptability of the human being. We adapt as humans, adapt in the situation. We don't have to go back for every situation we find ourselves in, to go back and reset and learn again. We human, we adapt. Can we have machine also adapt? I think this is where the future of AI will be. So I'm going to share with you some numbers here. It's expected for AI to grow in a rate of 40% for the next 5 years. So that's an annual growth of 40% in the economy for AI. It is expected to be $16 trillion by 2030. That's bigger than China economy today. So the economy that will be impacted, generated, affected by AI is going to be 16 trillion. 66% of the passenger miles by 2040 will be done by autonomous vehicle. So 66%. So every 3 rides, 2 of them will be using an autonomous vehicle by 2040. it is expected to have over 240 million robots by 2030. So these are numbers. Some of them might see the light. Some of them might exceed, because if we recall, in the age of internet, when we tried, even Bill Gates tried to draw a picture of the future, they all came short of that picture. And I think same applies for where we are today. So when we talk about Saudi Arabia, what does that mean to Saudi Arabia? So we have a great vision, the 2030 vision. Almost 70% of the goals we have in the vision, it's almost 96 goals. 66 goals are directly impacted by data. So it's really very relevant to Saudi Arabia. We talk about carbon emission reduction by 40%. Again, data is a major play. We can do that in using AI for the drilling. You can use that for AI for the optimization. The fingerprint of the carbon is going to be introduced like a barcode. So you might see a palm tree, how that's contributing to the carbon emission. Same way that a car is contributing negatively. And the net effect is going to be a reduction of 40%. This is where Saudi Arabia is heading. City traffic, and I'm glad to see some use cases about smart city. 35% of car traffic should be reduced using AI. And we are now suffering in Riyadh. See how the traffic, and I think Riyadh is really a good candidate for AI and the car reduction. And I think last but not least, I think we are happy to have a city that is born to be cognitive, which is NEOM. So NEOM is going to be the labs that you have here. It's like a city lab for all these new technologies and ideas. And I think that would be great for also your universities to collaborate with a city that is really moving towards big AI, smart city. So when we are working on the strategy, and the strategy we have identified, as we said, the data. So we will have the data full strategy, but we will have the AI strategy. We will have to define certain sectors that we feel of a high priority, or sectors that has really greater proven use cases using data and AI, so that we can leapfrog and we can immediately produce results. But at the same time, we have to work on policies. Policies like AI ethics, responsible AI. These things is really important for countries. Talents. I think talents is the major issue that we are facing in Saudi Arabia, and I will share with you some statistics. Infrastructure, R&D, and I think most of you working in the field of AI is suffering from data availability. If you want to have health data, you will struggle to find the health data because of lack of policy. Secondary use of data is not well defined. So I think we have to work on that. Since the establishment of SDAIA, the Saudi Data and AI Authority, so the country, the leaders of the country realized that data and AI is the future, and for that a new entity was born 3 years ago by the name of Saudi Data and AI. And one of the great achievements that have been started 3 years ago is the establishment of a national data bank. So a bank that hosts all the data that is coming from almost 40 different government organizations. And then we started building insights on those data. Those insights have realized almost 47 billion Saudi riyal in economical, either direct impact or opportunity impact for that. Hisab al-Muwatan is an example of that, where the government used to pay for everyone, now it's paying to the needy and increasing that value for the needy. So with AI, you can tell can help the government make the right decision on how to spend. Almost 8 billion data operations in the National Data Bank. We have established 7 data laws, including the privacy law, which is a very important law. And we have almost 68% of the Saudis have the right basic ICT talent. So in the basic ICT talent, I think Saudi Arabia is doing pretty well. But in spite of this really progress, we still have a lot of really gaps. The main one is actually, I would maybe think of, is the talents. So the data science per capita in Saudi Arabia, the figure is 23. A leading country like Singapore is 489. So it's a huge gap. And I'm glad that your university is helping to really work on data science programs, not only for graduates, but also you have to start from schools. We all know that AI and data science is based on math. And I think if we are weak in the math, the end result will also be weak on the other disciplines. So I think we have to start early on spotting smart students at the high school level or even below and start injecting really some of these new terminologies to it. I think we have also a gap in the research, unfortunately. So our contribution to open source development is 0.003% compared to almost 60% in leading countries. So there is a lot of gap in the R&D. And this is where we should really, for our strategy in Saudi Arabia to be effective, we have to address this gap really in a very, very serious manner. Also in the strategy, we have identified key sectors. I think healthcare. Healthcare is a data-rich sector and domain, and you see it here. All the X-rays, all the MRIs, all the CT scan, all the medical record, it's all really recorded, and I think there is always a shortage when you compare the ratio between physician and patient, and that is not going to increase the same way we increase the population. So data and AI has a potential way to disrupt the healthcare. And I'm glad that you have in your labs some work in the healthcare. And the vaccination of COVID, if it wasn't for big data and AI, the humanity would never have developed a vaccine in 6 to 8 months. It used to take years. And where AI plays the role is in the clinical trials. So instead of selecting 1 million potential patients to test a drug or vaccination, now with AI you can select the least but most effective, relevant number of patients, so that the time to market for any vaccine is now shortened by a huge amount of time. Energy, I think energy is great, and I'm happy that you have also some work in the energy consumption. Now, with the smart meters in our home, AI can do a lot. Those who are working in the field knows that every appliance has a signature or a load signature, so that you can tell when you open the ACs, it gives you a different shape that is different than a vacuum cleaner or something else. So you can tell, from simply having an AI machine reads what's happening in your smart grid, what appliances that you are using, and then can help you detect when it's the best time to use those appliances. Transport and logistics, defense and security, I think AI is going to be big on those, and banking as well, manufacturing and mining. Smart city, Arabic language, and I would like really to invite those interested in the Arabic language. We are in the center working on the Arabic language, and we have Professor Sawaf is with us. He's also helping us to build a very good Arabic program. We invite you all really to contribute to this program. I think the National Center for Artificial Intelligence is not built to compete with universities. Rather, we are here to complement your work. We sit on data, you need data. And we also collaborate with entities who have needs and they have great use cases. We know of those, we have a library of those needs. We are happy to extend this knowledge to really scholars and university professors to come and help us. When we started, for example, in the healthcare, we established a national health council for AI with the Ministry of Healthcare. We realized that 5 organizations working on the same AI problem in 5 different hospitals, and no one was aware of the others. In our center, this is what we would like to avoid, is putting all the resources in one and leaving so many other problems. We want to orchestrate, we want to support, we want to help, and we have already established 2 full collaboration with CAUS, establishing Center of Excellence for AI, and 1 with King Fahd University, and we are starting with you a good, ambitious, really training program for data and AI. I wish you all the best. This is what I can tell you in a short time, but we really look forward to a very successful conference. Thank you very much.
Dr. Yamani, Dr. Kunhal, I believe you now would like to make a presentation to Dr. Altwaijri.
Okay.